You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, November 13th, episode 3561, brought to you today by Poseidon Animal Health.
Hello, Horse World. It's Wednesday, the day you start daydreaming of a weekend with your horses. We'll help you get there with more silly horse talk on Horses in the Morning.
That's right. We do have a fun show planned for you today. Kristi Gran is joining us. She's been on our show many times, a veterinarian from Conley and Koontz Vet Hospital, and she's going to talk about Fecal Water Syndrome. Isn't that what everybody wants to hear about over lunch?
I mean, happy breakfast.
And we're going to start our Guess the Hallmark Christmas Movie plots. We've been doing this the last couple of years. Jamie is so good. All I do is give her the title, and she gives us the whole plot, and then I tell her how close she is, which is usually pretty close.
We shall see. I don't know. I'm not feeling particularly ready for this. I haven't started watching them yet, so I don't know.
You never watch them, let's be honest. And some weird news.
Yeah, right. I never watch them. That's totally true. Never would I ever do that when Chad's gone and watch romantic movies.
Oh, you have to have Anna watch her first Hallmark romantic movie. Oh, my God. I want to hear what she says. And then our post show, we're going to do the annual Naked Charity Calendar review. And that was a special request from our auditors who called us out and said, you haven't done the calendar reviews yet, and I need to get some calendars. Well, let me tell you. There's a lot of naked charity calendars now, hundreds. Used to be there were 3, and now there are hundreds, and I'll just review some of them for you. Some, let's just say, are better than others, but we'll do that. We'll do that in the Auditor Post show. Also, the inductees have been named in the National Toy Hall of Fame. And
How excited were you when you heard the news drop?
Oh, I was so excited. And if you remember right, Pokemon trading cards and Hess toy trucks and a trampoline and balloons. Remember, we're all in the running, but none of them made it this year because bronies worldwide are very happy today.
My little pony.
The bronies will be having parties across the world dressed up as bronies because My Little Pony is now in the National Toy Hall of Fame.
Bronies unite and celebrate. Pinkie Pie has made it to the finals.
Jennifer just ran in and she just got a call that the kitties are ready. She's going to pick them up tomorrow. So our new kitties.
Good.
Also, a game. I'm very happy about this. Phase 10. It's a card game that Jennifer and I play all the time with friends. So we love Phase 10 and been playing it for years and years and years. Our family, Jennifer's family, turned us on to that. So that's going in. And then Transformers are going in as well. I don't know how Phase 10 made it before the balloon. Or
the
trampoline. I don't know.
Well, My Little Pony has been trying for years to make its way into the Toy Hall of Fame 7 times. But I love the quote of the spokesperson for My Little Pony. And this is a quote. I don't even have the person's name, but it says, in recent years, there's been an entire fan base of 20 to 30 something year old guys who call themselves bronies. Like, he normalized it. Like, that's totally normal to have a bunch of old men like love My Little Ponies. That's so weird, but more power to you. I went to the movie. I took my son. It's fine.
Is he a brony now? He's not old enough to be a brony. So
I had him on the way, but now he's totally denied his equestrian lifestyle.
Do you think it was the bronies that put the voting over the top? Probably, because they probably voted every day, 12 times a day.
Oh my gosh, you have to. I mean, geez, keep it going, guys. Let's go. If you own it, if you want it.
All right, let's do some daily Whinnies. I have to get off the brony topic. It's just it's bothering me. By the way, if there's any bronies listening, hate mail goes to Jennifer at horseradionetwork.com.
And introduce yourself to me.
I don't know why I did that. I shouldn't have played that. We have no birthdays today. I don't know that that's ever happened before, but we have no birthdays of auditors today. But we do have one person that raised their pledge, Misty. Misty, thank you so much for raising your pledge quite a bit. We really do appreciate it, and we do notice. Also, everybody, there's 3 days left to get your submissions in for Radiothon, your songs. We started getting some good ones in, some poems. If you write a short story, whatever it is like that, get your submissions in. We're right now in the process of recording our guests and getting all that done. We have a very special guest. I was going to say guests, but it's guests for the first hour, which we're not announcing yet, but it's very special, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jamie's putting that one together for us. So we'll announce that maybe next week.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. As of last night, Smooth Operator, who was a big 17-hand gelding that has been here, was adopted by my friend Brooke. Oh, and she in Florida, and she lives in Jacksonville, and she boarded here with me. She lived in Oklahoma, and when she lost her horse about a year ago, she just said, I'm just going to get one of yours. And so she has been watching my Facebook posts and found Smooth Operator and fell in love with him. And I made her come out here and try him. So we got to hang out for a weekend. She hung out with him and fell in love. And so then the process of shipping a horse across the country starts. And he's been here waiting for the shipper for 3 weeks. But I'm so excited. It was Equine Express. They're such an awesome company, very communicative. They've kept me texted all along the way of when they were coming and when they got him and when they're going to drop him off. But they have picked up Smooth Operator, and he has made his way to Texas, and he's now loaded up and heading east to Florida. So I'm so excited for my friend Brooke to get a Smooth Operator.
Brooke. That's well done. Congratulations. And Smooth Operator sounds like he's going to end up with a nice house too.
Yes. I mean, and he's going to go be an event horse. She vetted him tip to tail, and he passed. And yeah, I'm so excited for her because she lost hers and was, when you lose your best friend, you're lost, without a horse in that lifestyle that you've kind of created for yourself. So I'm so excited for her to get back into horses. She's boarding him at a place that's close to her house and is just a lady's house. And there's 5 other eventers who board there, and several of them have off the track thoroughbreds. So she's got a coach that comes in a couple times a month. And so she's going to have a lot of help and a lot of support. I'm really excited.
Very good. And you have something going on with Hellraiser tonight, too.
Oh, my gosh. Hellraiser. He's going to get read by Marion Merrill tonight, the psychic. Oh, yeah. He's just such a weird dude. And I just want to see how I can help him, if I can do anything, or it'll be crazy and that they don't come of it. But I want to believe and I want to be involved. And I think what I've learned about reading
the word. Let's go back 5, 6, 7 years when I mentioned to Jamie that we should have a psychic on the show. And she was like, hell no, we're never doing that. Just gonna remind you.
Yeah. But see, what I've realized is that having the psychic read your horse gives you almost a deeper connection to that horse. And maybe it's just one-sided. Maybe it's just me who feels it, but it gives me I don't know. Sometimes I get to where I'm business with the horses. Hey, we've got to get you worked. We got to get this training done. We've got to get this done. And this kind of makes me pump the brakes and stand back and kind of look at the horse a little differently. I don't know. Again, I've read Black Beauty way too many times. And when I have them read by the psychic, I'm like, oh my God, Black Beauty's talking to me. It's a thing. So that is why I'm doing this. And I'm really excited. And he's got so many quirks that you know what? It can't hurt. Okay, Glenn, shut up.
I didn't say anything other than you changed your tune. You look at how much more open-minded you are now. Look at that. You've grown.
You're right. I'm
You've
growing.
matured.
I've grown. I have. I'm a big girl now.
All right, attention horse lovers. Do you want your horse to perform at its best? Poseidon Animal Health has the veterinarian recommended supplements to keep your equine friend feeling their best. Is your horse stressed by travel or competition? Our stress paste can help them stay calm and focused. Worried about your horse's digestion? Digestive HP and the Gut Health Reset Pack can promote a healthy gut and keep your horse feeling their best. Poseidon Animal Health products are trusted worldwide by Olympic athletes. Give your horse the same champion treatment. Visit PoseidonAnimalHealth.com today. Jamie uses that on her horses. Yep.
Smooth Operator has 4 days of food. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get there. And there is the digestive HP in, like, it's like a powder form and it's in every one of his meals.
Oh, yay. Good. So he'll be well fortified by the time he gets to Florida. Where it's
it
still
just
98
helps him,
degrees.
you know? Oh, God.
He'll be going, wow, it was nice and cool where I came from. All right, it's time. It's time to play the Hallmark holiday movie game. We started this years ago, and it was by accident, I think. It's just when Hallmark started putting out about 85 holiday movies a year, and we were making fun of it. And then Jamie is such a good guesser. Just give her the title, and she guesses what the movie is about. And
Now,
that's
you
not
have
because
the real
she's watched
synopsis.
everyone.
No. It's
No.
just, it's formulaic. Okay. And I've got to get my creative hat on, but you have the actual synopsis,
I do.
right? So I have to guess the synopsis and you will tell me whether I was close or way off, or mine could possibly be better.
And
So
I have
someday they're going to call.
I have the name of the quote-unquote stars that are in each movie. And if you remember right, in past years, we've looked them up, and pretty much all they've done is Hallmark movies. That's what we found. All right. So I don't know. Are you an H-list star if all you do is Hallmark movies? You know, like A,
I know,
B,
right?
C, D.
You're EFGH. Yeah.
All right. Here's the first one. Now, believe it or not, these started playing daily in October. There are 40 of them. We're only going to do a few today, and maybe we'll do a few more later on. But all right, here's the first couple. This one played all the way back on October 18th. 'Twas the Date Before Christmas.
Oh, okay. 'Twas the Date Before Christmas. So this girl, she's eternally single, and unfortunately, her mother does not approve. So her mother sets her up on a date, and it is going to happen on a Friday night. She's supposed to go out on a date with this guy that her mother has set her up with. But what happens is on the she was going to work on Friday morning because she's a business executive, obviously, but she's been too busy to like find a mate. So her mother's got her set up with somebody. But on the way to work, she goes into a coffee shop and she orders a latte, and they were like, "What's your name?" She's like, "My name is Jen." And then seconds later, like somebody's like, "I got a latte for Jen." And this guy comes up and he's like, "It's my latte." And she was like, "It's my latte. I'm Jen. Look, it's my name." And he was like, "Oh my God, my name is Ken. I thought they said Ken." And their eyes meet, sparks fly. And she has a coffee date on the date before the date she was set up with her mother.
I think
and they
that
fall in
would
love,
have been
obviously.
much better than what they have in the description.
Oh no, not even close.
Well, sort of. To prevent her family from canceling the Chamberlain family Christmas Olympics, Jessie lies and says she's invited a date to the long-standing holiday tradition. She meets Byron on a dating app, and he agrees to spend the holiday with her and her family doing the Christmas Olympics.
Oh my God, I was way off. How was I supposed to guess that?
First of all, what family does Christmas Olympics? That's a first for me. I've never heard of that. Now it's a thing because Hallmark made it a thing. And by the way, the stars in that show are Robert Buckley and Amy Groening. So you've heard of them, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Holiday Crashers.
Holiday Crashers. Oh, this is a wacky one, Glenn. So there is a family and they are sick of the rat race of Christmas and having to go and do and shop and get everything ready. And so this mom is like a mom of like 2 kids, I think, and then her husband. She's like, "That's it. We're doing something different." And so they decide they're going to pack their bags and they're going to head down to the Caribbean and they're going to spend their Christmas on the beach. That is what they've decided to do. So what do? They book an Airbnb on Christmas. And it's super easy to get an Airbnb on Christmas because like who's going to the Caribbean at Christmas? I mean, I would love to, but like I didn't. But here we go. So she goes down there with her family and they knock on the door.
Tangents you go on during these descriptions.
They plug their little code in to get into the Airbnb and they open the door and oh my God, there's another family in there.
That would be my luck, actually.
Or even better, it's a single lady and she's decided to go down to the Caribbean by herself because this is way better. So she's sick of Christmas. So she then hops on a plane, heads down to the Caribbean, plugs the code on her Airbnb, opens the door, and there is a guy in there and he is handsome and single and he is also fed up with Christmas. So he decided that he is going to be there. And then, but what are they going to do? There's no other Airbnbs available at Christmas because obviously it's packed. So they have to spend the whole week together in this Airbnb and holiday crashers. They spend Christmas together and they fall in love.
Once again, better than the one that actually.
No.
Two best friends who work at a card shop. By the way, how many people work at card shops and Christmas stands and all the
Christmas tree farms?
And there's not that many people in the world that work at those. Two best friends work at a card shop decide to shake up their humdrum world by creating new identities to crash Christmas parties from the shop's confidential invitations that they print. Their lies eventually catch up with them as they're whisked away to a fancy corporate Christmas retreat in the snowy Vermont mountains. Who the hell thinks this stuff up? By the way, there's a guy, one of the stars of this, his name, and I'm not making this up, is Jag Ball, Jagbal.
I love that guy.
Does that sound like a porn star name or what? He's actually a Canadian actor of South Asian descent. Who knew? And of course, he's handsome with a beard. That was probably the guy she went away with to the corporate retreat. How about the next one? Scouting for Christmas. Now,
I can take this two ways.
Yeah. Okay.
You can either think Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or you could think like a baseball scout. Well,
think HGTV. I'm going to give you a clue.
HGTV, Home and Garden. So they're scouting for new places to build homes. I don't know. I can't go. When I heard Scouting for Christmas, I was thinking that there was this baseball scout and he goes to every game and he's always by himself and he's very lonely but he's busy. But I don't know why he'd be scouting for Christmas at Christmas because there's no baseball being played at Christmas. But putting that aside, we're going to go with it is a guy who works for a baseball team and he's a scout, a professional scout, and he is very lonely and he's in this very small town in South Georgia and he's looking at some players and he goes into the local coffee shop, sits down at the diner. The lady that pours him coffee, her name is, Elizabeth, and she's inappropriately attractive for being in this small town serving coffee at a diner, and they meet, fall in love, and
did you notice that none of them ever meet the people at never meet the servers at Hooters? They're never at a Hooters when they meet the servers. It's always a little coffee shop.
Maybe that'll be next. But how was I? How did I do?
Well, you were right, actually, with your first guest. Retailer Angela has been busy raising her 10-year-old daughter ever since her divorce several years ago. When her daughter plays Cupid and asks a handsome bakery owner, again, because there's so many of those around, to help her mom cater her Scout Troops holiday event, Angela finds herself opening her heart to the bakery owner.
I didn't want to get kids involved and make it creepy.
Well, it's creepy.
They did it.
You were actually right. I'll give you that one. Two more. Operation Nutcracker.
Operation Nutcracker. Okay, this one's going to get a little weird. This is going to get a little sci-fi, all right? Because what happens is there's the Christmas play every year, and this woman, she plays Mary in the nativity scene, and in the nativity scene, they've got a lot of Christmas decorations, and flanked by that is all these giant 6 feet tall nutcrackers. And she just sees one and it winks at her. And she's like, why did that nutcracker wink at me? So they finish up and everybody goes home and she goes back and goes to talk to the nutcracker and it comes to life and they fall in love and they live happily ever after. Boom! boom.
Yeah.
How'd I do?
I don't know. He was a little stiff at times, but
That got weird. You just made it creepy.
when an antique nutcracker set to be auctioned off at the Warbly Family Home Christmas Charity goes missing, a demanding event planner and their heir to the Warbly dynasty try to track it down. I don't know where they make this stuff.
That was it?
That's it.
It
Yours
didn't
is
come to
much
life
better.
and
Yours is
Make
much
love
better.
to her
Yours
in
is
the
much
manger
better.
scene.
Yours is much better.
There is a nutcracker that they were trying to find.
Yes.
That was auctioned off. That's it.
Yeah, it was plainly obvious there on that one.
There's nothing romantic about that. There's got to be more.
And
But
who
you know what?
wants
I
to-
don't care.
Who wants to go out with a demanding event planner? That sounds horrible. Sorry to all the demanding event planners out there.
Okay, this is exhausting. Anymore?
Yeah, one more. The Christmas charade. Oh, I will give you a clue on this one
Okay.
because you will never guess it anyway. It involves a librarian because, there's still lots of those around too, apparently, that need love.
The Christmas charade. Okay. Well, obviously, the librarian. I can't even come up with anything. They played charades and they're in the library
get
because
this
they were quietly having to play a game. And then this one guy jumps up and he was like, it's the book and title, and guesses a whole charade, and they lock eyes and they fall in love and they spend Christmas together. I don't care. I really
Incorrect.
don't care.
A cautious
Okay.
librarian finds herself in a real-life adventure when a blind date mixed up leads her into... These are so poorly written, they could be bad ads. When a blind date mix-up leads her into an undercover FBI operation. Forced to pose as the girlfriend of an FBI agent, she helps him track down an art thief at a Christmas Eve charity ball, and sparks fly.
How did I not guess that? I mean, how did I not involve any FBI agents, any spy plots, any charity auctions? And
And
I'm
the Girl
sorry, I dropped
Scouts.
the ball. I dropped the ball.
You did?
It's.
You...
I'm gonna go home.
Although I will say that some of your plots sounded better than some of theirs. I talked to a bunch of our listeners who were at Equine Affair over the weekend, and a big surprise, a lot of them shopped at statelinetac.com and brought home bags and bags and bags of stuff. There was a lot of shopping done over the weekend at Equine Affair, and I think State Line Tac did pretty good. But right now, they have WinTech saddle pads. They have free gifts for a saddle purchase, and they're giving away, if you buy a WinTech saddle, you get saddle pads, and you get wraps, and you get a Santa hat. All with the WinTech saddles, and you know how we like WinTech saddles. Jennifer rides in one every day. I think you still use them for your lessons and things. And they have so many varieties of WinTech saddles, all-purpose. They have the Western. They have dressage. They have the endurance saddles. They just have everything. They're washable. They're lightweight. And you get all kinds of free gifts right now if you get one for somebody for the holidays, or you get yourself one too. All at statelinetac.com. All highlighted at 10% off.
Can I complain real quick?
Yeah.
Before we move on to our first guest.
Yeah.
So there's something that happens in Oklahoma. So I'm waiting on a hay delivery. Okay. We got a bunch of round bells coming. And this is something that my farrier did until I corrected him. The veterinarian did until I corrected her, that the hay guy just did to me. And what it is they say, we're heading your way. Where the hell are you?
Yeah.
That is not helpful information. We're heading your way. Are you 5 minutes away? Do you live an hour and a half away? I don't know. Do people do that to you, or is that like an Oklahoma
No.
thing? Because hey, we're headed your way. I'm coming. I'm on my way. What?
We can
Where
order.
are ya?
We can order groceries from Kroger, and we had groceries coming on Saturday at 1:00. They texted me at 10 and said we're on the way. They got here at 1:00.
Oh my God! Tell me where the hell you are.
He's at your driveway gate.
I'm sorry, I'm busy.
All right, let's go to our guest. This Horse Health Report is brought to you by Daily Dose Equine, non-GMO core nutrition for horses and ponies of all ages. Well, we have Dr. Kristi Gran back with us, and Dr. Kristi is from a vet hospital in Indiana or Illinois. I can't never remember those two.
Northeastern Indiana.
That's right. Okay. I knew it was Indiana or Illinois. I know it's one of those two. And for those of us that live on the East or West Coast, they're both the same. we look at
It's all just a mess.
Yeah. It's like,
Yep.
why did they make two? They could have just made one.
Yeah.
It's like the Dakotas. Why do we have two? So in any case, so we're going to talk about a very sexy topic, fecal water syndrome. First of all, what is fecal water syndrome?
So the basic gist of it is that the body is, or when the horse poops, they're releasing too much water. So usually what people see is that the horse has a normal pile of manure, but there's a bunch of water around it, or
Ew.
if they're, or if they happen to be there when the horse is actually pooping, what they see is normal poop and then just a bunch of dripping after in a range of volumes, I guess, of the water part of it.
Dr. Kristi, do you know what I do then? I go, Jennifer!
Glenn, do I need to take over? I don't think you're emotionally capable of handling this. All
That's
right.
what I do as a horse husband. That's my next comment, and go, you're handling the watery poop. That's not on
Okay.
me.
Problem.
So why don't you let me handle this interview, okay? You just go ahead and sit back down and have some coffee and
We're
take your
talking about
headphones off.
watery poop, Jamie.
Yes, I know. So that happens a lot where the horse poops and then water drips out. Why does that happen?
So the physiologic answer is that the colon is not absorbing as much water as is coming through it. So if you open the small intestine, well, I guess I'll back up. So the intestinal tract of a horse, right? So we start with the stomach, which is where all the food goes as soon as they eat it. And then it goes through the small intestine, which is like a big pile of spaghetti almost. And it's mostly liquid when it gets in through there. And then it goes into the cecum and colon. And that's where water gets absorbed and fecal balls are actually made. So if you were to open the small intestine of a horse, most everything that's in there is liquid and gas. And then when you open the large intestine of a horse, a lot of what's in there is it's less wet, it's more dry. And so as that manure moves through, the body or the colon is supposed to absorb enough water to create these, the fecal balls that we normally see. And the easy answer to fecal water syndrome is that for some reason the colon is not absorbing as much water as is coming through it, creating this extra fluid that poops itself out around the normal manure. The difficult answer to it is we don't really know why, or at least to my knowledge, we don't know why. There's been a lot of speculation about, is it a problem within the colon wall? I've done some biopsies before and never really gotten a straight answer as to, here is the actual problem. There's some speculation that it may have to do with diet, that it may have to do with imbalances of the normal gut flora that is in there to help break down food. But the problem is nobody really knows exactly why it happens, which then makes it very difficult to know who it's going to happen to and how to treat it and how to prevent it.
Those were all my next questions because I have my thoroughbred had colitis about a couple of years ago and was, I guess, a year and a half ago and was hospitalized for colitis, and they were able to pull him through. But I just noticed when you talking about poop and a little water comes out, that's what happens to him. So is that dangerous to have that?
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the
related?
problem?
So-
Is it that water's not being absorbed into the system?
Yeah. So the difference between fecal water syndrome and true colitis is that fecal water syndrome truly is not a problem, a physiologic problem for the horse. So they're not going to get sick off of it. They're not going to get dehydrated off of it. I've had a handful of owners tell me that they think their horses lost weight. I don't know that I've really been convinced that that's truly the reason why they're losing weight. But when we talk about true colitis, these are bacterial or viral problems that are affecting the lining of the colon and cause huge volumes of water loss over short periods of time, which is why those horses are super sick, as you've unfortunately experienced. But fecal water syndrome in general is not a sickness problem, I guess, per se, for a horse. It is messy. It can lead to scalding, like on their back end. So I'm sure it's uncomfortable, but it's not something that they're going to end up being hospitalized or sick over in the short term or long term, honestly. So
how can we, I mean, I guess you said we don't really know how we can avoid it, is just improving the like probiotics and prebiotics. Like how can I get them to absorb that?
So it really depends on the horse, which is not what anyone wants to hear, because what that basically means is that we end up doing trial and error. There's a ton of products on the market that claim to be the solution for fecal water syndrome. I mean, even at our big AAP veterinary meetings, there's usually at least 2 booths there selling this magical product that's supposed to make it go away. And I've taken samples and haven't really seen the data that it works 100% of the time or even 50% of the time. So usually what I end up doing on some of these horses is some trial and error with diet, some trial and error with various either medications or supplements. And it's never the same from horse to horse. So there's some horses where switching them from, a mostly roughage diet to a mostly pelleted feed, complete feed diet is what they need. And that's, on the assumption that the scratchy hay is causing some irritation in the colon, and that works for them. There's others where the grain-based diets are actually what's causing the problem. And so pulling them off and putting them mostly on roughage is actually helpful. There's some that I've had, put them on grass, take them off grass, and same things. And so there's really no rhyme or reason. And what I would tell people is to be frustrated. It's a frustrating thing, but be persistent in trying to find the thing that's going to work for your horse. There's some that I've managed very well on, I don't know if you're allowed to say company names, but from some Smart Pack products, there's some Platinum Performance products. Those 2 companies have some very good ones that I've had success with. Purina has a new one out that's all probiotic based that they're very excited about. I will say confident, but I don't want to mislead people in that, this is the solution, but they're confident that it may be a good addition to the market. But unfortunately, it's not. When someone asked about it, I was like, well, it's a timely topic because we see a lot of it going into the winter. And a lot of that is because people are starting to see poopsicles on their horses' tails, but it is also frustrating in the fact that there really is no one right answer to what the problem is.
So I just Googled it, and it's like, how do you treat fecal water syndrome? Like nutrition. So some horses do better on early maturity hay, soft Timothy hay. Some do better on orchard grass. Some do better on baled pasture grasses. This is annoying. You know what? I'm mad at you, Glenn, for booking this because now you're just giving me something to completely freak out about.
Mad at Ashley. It's interesting. We had this conversation with the Chinese medicine segment we did years ago with Dr. Wendy, and that's what they do. They do talk about it being a food issue, a fiber issue, basically, right? And how different horses absorb different types of fiber in different ways. And, they do a lot of talking. I remember this conversation. We did a lot of talking about fiber and hay and the types of it, just what you just said. But it comes back to every horse is different.
Yeah, every horse is different. And as time goes by, things are different too. Science changes, animals change, physiology changes. And, I would bet if you looked 20 years ago, we probably didn't see quite as much as we see now. And is that a reflection of the, more concentrated feeds that we're feeding? Is it a reflection of the different soil types that these hays are growing in? Is it a reflection of the different bacterial components of these horses' guts? I don't honestly know. I do think some of it has to do with the fact that we're getting a lot better at keeping these horses healthy and alive for a lot longer, because a lot of these horses that have problems are much older horses. There's definitely some in their teens that have had it, but a lot of them are much older horses. And unfortunately, we don't have a way of slowing down the aging process yet. And so presumably, their gut is only built to survive a certain number of years. And if we're continuing to push it, maybe it's not going to work quite as well as it did when they were 15. That's just a theory of mine, but I don't have any proof of that.
Cool. This sounds really fun. So I'm just going to continue to freak out. Well, Dr. Gran,
I will say, of all of the gross things that we horse people freak out about, this is not, it's a gross thing, but it's not one to freak out that your horse is going to be super sick over.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I'll
So put it
just
at the
sit here
bottom
and
of the list.
okay. Well, it's on the list, but I'll move it down the list. It's
Okay, sounds
ckequinehospital.com is where you can find Dr. Gran. You've forgotten more than most know about horses, and we appreciate you coming on to share some of your knowledge with us.
Anytime. Welcome back.
Daily Dose Equine Horse Feeds has 4 different formulas that we're going to chat about very briefly today. First one on the list balances the needs of horses who need calories, but they also need a little bit of focus. What's that one called?
Called Mass No Sass.
They also have a formula that's going to balance the needs of a horse that needs a lot of energy because he is a high performance competitor. What's that one?
That one is called Freestyle Performance or Trail Mix.
Dun, 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 because yes, trail horses can be high performance animals. And for senior horses or horses who have dental issues,
That one's called Senior.
tough to remember. And for those who want a top quality non-GMO feed, which is what all of Daily Dose Equine's feeds are, but they also have a really serious budget that they need to stick to. What do you have for them?
We call that product Sweet and Safe.
Recharge your training program with Equestrian Plus. Equestrian Plus brings together top riders, trainers, and professionals onto one video platform. Watch over 5,000 how-to training videos, clinic and event footage, exclusive training sessions, and more featuring top experts including 5-time dressage Olympian Stefan Peters, 5-time Olympic show jumper Ann Krasinski, Olympic eventer and silver medalist William Fox Pitt, and more. Join Equestrian Plus now and use promo code HRN15 for 15% off your first month. Visit EquestrianPlusPLUS.com to subscribe.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
Yes, it's that time of the week where we tell you about the weird news that's happening all over the world. And I would like to thank this week Delia, Shelly, Scott, Lorene, and Chloe for all sending me weird news stories. And they all sent me a bunch of them. And Shelly, I am not doing a story about a cockroach in somebody's intestine. Sorry. Moving on. But yeah, so if you are ever looking through the news and you're like, whoa, that is so weird, email it to me, weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com.
Can I do the first one?
Yeah, I would love it.
Okay, so do you know the name Richard Meade? Does that mean anything to you?
It sounds familiar. He's an Olympian, right?
Yeah, he's an Olympian, Britain's most successful male equestrian at the Olympics. He was a triple Olympic gold medalist and won a bunch of other medals too. Well, he has passed away. His widow, though, reported that his gold medals were stolen. His team, individual, and eventing medals, which he won in Munich, were taken when the Meade property in South Gloucestershire was broken into between Tuesday and Friday, November 1st. Jewelry, antiques, and trophies were also stolen. So he and the gold medals were part of that. You want to hear what makes this weird? He died in 2015, and his spouse said that, that these medals were very special to the whole family, obviously, right? They're gold medals. We're extremely proud of his achievements as an event rider, and, he was one of the most decorated in British history. If anybody knows the whereabouts, they would like him back as soon as possible. What makes this really weird is this is the second time they've been stolen.
What?
In the 1980s, they were stolen while on loan to an exposition. But following a media appeal, the medals were left in a public place. The authorities were tipped off and the medals were reunited with Richard. One medal had been scratched, revealing that it was not solid gold and therefore had no material value, and they think that's why they gave it back.
You are going straight to hell if you get somebody's gold medals and then melt them down for cash. Oh my gosh, what a terrible thing.
I know. It is awful. And his poor widow, I mean, this is one of the memories she has of him, and she probably watched him at all of these things. He was on the British eventing team for 21 years. So, and
his son rides too. I mean, the guy, there's like a family, man, that is brutal. Well, if anybody knows the whereabouts of the medals, please email weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com. All right, I got another one.
Okay. Oh, well, sorry. I'm going to do that. I'm not used to doing the weirdness.
Poor Kiara Quinones. She broke her tooth, and somebody's got to pay for it, Glenn. Somebody has to pay for Kiara breaking her tooth. And you know who she's going to sue for it? She's suing JetBlue Airlines. Why? Because they had the audacity to give her an ice cream bar that was too frozen, and she cracked her tooth on the ice cream bar that was too frozen, and they're going to pay.
I thought JetBlue was the one that doesn't serve you anything at all, not even peanuts.
Apparently, JetBlue flies to Paris, and she flew on JetBlue to Paris, which has to be possibly the worst flight.
Yeah, really
ever.
comfortable.
But so she's suing for whatever she says she's alleging severe and permanent bodily injuries from biting into an ice cream bar. You know what? You're an idiot who doesn't know how to eat. Now, this next one, there was also an incident that happened. I think it was also on JetBlue, and they're also being sued for serving tea that was too hot. Because turbulence hit, and this lady burned her, the tea spilled all over her. Yeah, so she'll win. So I talked to Chad about that, and I was like, is that a thing? And he said that when they have turbulence, they know turbulence is coming. When turbulence is coming, they stop all of the hot drink serving. And so he'll have to radio back to the flight attendants. He'll be like, level 2 turbulence coming up, or whatever that means. It's what he said. And then they know what that code is to know if they can or can't serve hot drinks. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know, but apparently
what the highest level of turbulence is, because if I ever hear that in the airplane, I want to know.
They're radioing it to the flight attendants, not to you. They're not announcing it over, hey, everybody.
Level 10 turbulence.
We're going to have some bumpy air coming up. And,
they always underplay it, too. It's just going to get a little bumpy.
A little bumpy.
As your lunch just hit the ceiling.
Try to fly above it and get over it, or go around it. Yeah. There you go. I don't know what to do next because there's so many there's 3 really good ones. So I'm just gonna make my way through. Okay. If we're gonna go to Lincoln, Nebraska, and this man in Madison County has been arrested for writing bad checks. Now, if you are gonna write a bad check, not you, say somebody writes a bad check, what do they write bad checks for?
Do you mean item or the amount?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna write a bad check, where are you gonna do it? Probably a garage sale. Something Walmart. Or something.
Do they take checks anymore?
Well, and not Matthew White. He's charged with issuing a bad check for over $5,000, which is a felony. Do you know what he bought? He went to the local livestock auction and purchased an alpaca, a donkey, and 2 kangaroos. And then wrote a bad check. He's currently been arrested.
Where are the animals? Did he resell them? Did it say?
You know what? My whole thing was where are the babies?
Yeah.
I want to know where the babies are. And it says nobody was available for immediate comment, and it remains unclear if the animals have been seized or where they have been housed.
I wonder how much you can resell a kangaroo for. I have no idea.
I mean, some running back through the auction. Pinhook them.
I don't think I'd want a kangaroo. They look dangerous.
Yeah, I some of them look pretty tough.
Yeah.
Baby kangaroo, maybe I'll snuggle with that. I just, sometimes it's not worth reading the whole story. It's just the headline that matters the most.
Like on Hallmark movies.
Yeah, you just but sometimes you get the whole story just from the headline. Okay. And here's family stunned after naked man found living under their 93-year-old grandmother's home.
Yep, that says it all.
There you go. That's it. Last one. By the way, that was California.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Florida, but you don't live under homes here, so.
No, and now we're going to go to Oregon because things are crazy in Oregon right now. But there's a man. He's 71 years old. His name is William Hesh, and he is suing the Columbia River Fire and Rescue Department for $1 million for injuries and medical expenses. How is he suing fire and rescue for $1 million, you ask? Well, let me tell you. He was riding his bike down the road, okay? 71-year-old man just cruising on down the road, and he got hit by an ambulance. So the lights were going, they just hit him, and he hit. And they're like, oh my God. And there's a picture of the ambulance on top of the bicycle tire. They hit him. So, it's an ambulance, and they're like, we got to get him to the hospital. So they're like, woo, woo. They get out of the car. It's like one of those old movies where they get the gurney out and run and grab the guy off the bicycle and go grab the guy and put him in the back of the ambulance and take him directly to the hospital. He gets fractures, scrapes, broken bones. He's a mess, and he's 71, so they're not quick to heal, right? He got a bill for $1,800 for the ambulance ride.
There you go.
Oh my God. We're gonna hit you.
All right, that's one lawsuit. I totally agree with that lawsuit. I really do.
Oh, you got a bill.
All right, was that the last one?
That's it. That's all I can do.
Hey, we had Caldera, our racehorse, apparently has returned to work after his first race, and he covered a half mile at Churchill Downs, and it was his first breeze back from the race. He'll likely have 2 more works before his next appearance, and they haven't totally decided. It's going to be at Oaklawn, but they haven't totally decided exactly when that's going to be. So
go Caldera.
They think it's going to be around the first of this, December 6th, in that range. So we'll be watching out for our racehorse and see how we do. We own it, so you know what's going to happen. You're going to get it in about a year through. Oh,
gosh, I hope not. I hope he goes on to win everything. He's by Arrogate. He's still intact. Hopefully he'll have an amazing career in the life of a breeding stallion. I don't need another big Great Thoroughbred.
All right, hang on.
Take one.
Hang on, auditors. We have a post show for you. We're going to be doing our annual look at the naked calendars that are available around the world that are for charity. And that's an appropriate time for you to say,
spay, neuter, and geld.
Right after I talk about the naked calendars, which are mostly men this year.
Oh my God, the pest control just said they're on the way.